welcome back to Consensus Unreality. Today we'll be talking about each of our top 5 favorite occult or esoteric destinations in the United States.
You can't do the NPR voice for public. People don't hear us enough. They're going to think that's what we actually sound like. Don't worry, I'll come in with a welcome to another edition of Consensus Unreality.
Well, we already did the intro.
This is the intro. This is the whole thing.
The whole thing, even the thing about blood pressure.
Oh yeah, that's in there too.
What if I had like a squeaky little... Anyway.
My most esoteric paranormal destination is going to the doctor and getting treated.
That's the most esoteric. So we're going to be trading our top 5 occult, paranormal, weird, esoteric locations today.
For the title, much like I love a list episode, by the way. I hope you guys like a list episode because I like a list episode. We did our top 10? We each had 10, so it was 20 most esoteric consensus Unreality's 20 most esoteric films.
I don't think they were the most esoteric.
No, but that's what we called it because
it gets you.
The important part is it's consensus unrealities.
Yes.
So these destinations, I don't think the old Overlook has made it onto either of our lists. Like the big, well-known hotspots. Although we'll definitely have some honorable mentions of some of those things that we have visited. But
I went a personal route with this
for sure, and that's kind of the objective that we were going for. I also went a personal route, and there's some things that pop up on there that are, more trod. Is that
trod? Yeah,
Trone.
Trone.
All right. Yeah. Let's, by the way, patreon.com/consensus unreality, 6 years worth of exclusive episodes, our full episode archive, 2 exclusive episodes a month, written
That's
content.
That's when we do our real work, right?
We get weird over there. We've got exclusive written content, our chat server, all kinds of cool stuff. It only costs you $5 a month, and if you want to bump it up to $10 a month, you get access to our printed Journal of Shells, which is a magazine that will get mailed to you. It's a quarterly magazine. It has archival texts, new writings, artworks. It's all laid out and curated by us. We're super excited about that, and you can only get it on patreon.com/consensus unreality. It's the best and only place to support the show. We appreciate you listening either way. All right, you want to start it off?
Sure. Let's see. Oh, yeah, so my bit for this one is that, how like on podcasts on streaming now, they have like sort of like an AI-generated like section breaks with titles?
Mm-hmm. We have that.
Yeah, I mean, they all do now. I feel like I want to see if I can mess with it by saying a false one every time and see if it will auto-generate the false one or the true one.
You've got a bone to pick with AI.
I've got a bone. So
he's not letting up, folks.
My first one will be Apport Used Books in Emmaus, Pennsylvania.
Oh my God!
It's a really lovely bookstore with a nice selection of paranormal, esoteric, and occult books, but also lots of other stuff too for you people who are a little more complicated than the average esoteric podcast listener. Just kidding. No, my first actual choice is this isn't in any order, but it is the Pine Barrens of New Jersey.
Oh,
just
okay.
Generally speaking,
that could have easily been on my list.
Yeah, no particular spot. I mean, Ong's Hat is, of course, kind of what would you call it? Like a folkloric destination. The sign keeps getting stolen, but I drove by it a couple weeks ago, and the road sign is still there.
the beautiful thing about this, I'll interject real quick and let you continue. The beautiful thing
Please.
about this episode, though, is that it's a callback to all of our other episodes. Ong's Hat, of course, we had our wonderful interview with Joseph Metheny,
Yeah.
who is the creator of the Ong's Hat mythos, ARG, and really just a brilliant and incredible guy.
Yeah.
Excellent interview, so you can go back and listen to the origin of Ong's Hat there.
One of my favorites.
So tell me more about your Pines experience.
Well, I mean, it's just a place that I've been going over to the Jersey Shore from Eastern Pennsylvania my whole life. So you kind of have to go through there to get there. And so it always has this kind of transportative quality that I associate with childhood and with sort of, falling asleep in the back of a car, that kind of thing. So it has this kind of dreamlike quality to it. But it also, as an adult now, it has this folklore that you can dig into, not just the one that was kind of generated, uh, in the late 20th, early 21st century, but the stuff that goes way back to, the Jersey Devil, of
I was
course,
gonna say,
and
don't bury the lead here.
yeah, the Devil. We got the Jersey Devil,
Fucking whole devils back there.
which is kind of a really interesting example of like an American myth system that kind of grew out of several different directions, but also is somewhere between the paranormal and the like cryptozoological. Like it really feels like something that's right in the middle of the road where you can't, there are people who are going to like actually think of this as a, zoological anomaly in the way that Bigfooters will. And then there are the people who think of it as like a devil spawn and, go with the whole mythology of witchcraft and Satanism and that sort of thing
Yeah,
that,
and
that
of
led to its
course,
creation.
the Jersey Devil is really one of the greatest examples of an egregore.
Totally.
Not to get to, because we have other things to list here, but to explain a little bit how the myth of the Jersey Devil arose was because there was a feud between Benjamin Franklin and the Leeds family. The Leeds family, who supposedly birthed the Jersey Devil, actually were the owners of the first American almanac. And Benjamin Franklin then came in with the Poor Richard's Almanac, and to defame this family, he created this myth in his almanac about the cursed Leeds family and the Jersey Devil. It kind of like amalgamated some Native American Wendigo type stuff
Yeah.
into this chimeric cryptozoological thing. But that's not to say that people go out there and camp and have weird experiences that are, like hoof marks on cabin roofs. And of
Yeah.
course, our good friend and multiple times guest Mike Bruno has had experiences of, a spiritual Jersey Devil encounter.
Yeah.
I love it, man. The Pine Barrens are an
It's the
incredibly
best.
haunted, unique set of woods, close to
Yeah.
home, and we're lucky to have such a strange place to visit.
I love it's just such a unique landscape as well. And I feel like that lends the folklore to it. It kind of, there's another thing on my list that it kind of needs to have that. Like if it didn't exist, the landscape itself kind of generates that kind of folklore. If, there needs to be a hoofed monster in that location. Otherwise it would feel empty, and it certainly doesn't feel empty. Yeah, that's one of my favorite places, both kind of haunted and a little scary, but also like extremely blessed feeling and nice.
Okay, you crazy hoof monster. I will jump in here and say my first location. I've talked about this place many, many times. An incredibly kept secret of America, of the Midwest. I think everybody should, if they have the access to this place, should get there no matter how far the drive is. It's that incredible. I'm talking about the Great Serpent Mound of Ohio. I first learned about this place in a Native American religion class in college many, many moons ago, and it stuck with me. I was like, there's this giant effigy in the middle of Ohio. It turns out this is the largest prehistoric effigy in the world. It's constructed on the site of a 300 million year old meteor crater, which is kind of incredible. And the site itself goes back to 1,000 years BC. So this remarkable ancient society knew that somehow that they were constructing on the site of an incredible collision with a
Yeah.
meteor and Earth. Now this coiling serpent, which Graham Hancock has talked about, Ross Hamilton is one of the great archaeologists who has spent many, many years at the site talking about and studying the site. The coiling serpent appears to be swallowing an egg. Of course, that conjures the great Ouroboros, and also the symbol of like panspermia, right? The serpent
Yeah.
eating the cosmic egg, which is weird the way that it intersects with it being constructed on the site of a meteor collision. It holds magnetic anomalies, echoes of that ancient meteor collapse. It's a truly remarkable place. It's massive. It's not necessarily tall, but it's so long. It's so beautiful, and it holds a lot of spiritual significance to people of different creeds. And I think it just has this mystery embedded in it too. Like, we don't really
Yeah.
know much about the mound builders' civilization except for what they left us in artifacts. Um, Truly an incredible place. Again, highly recommended. And
I've still never been there. Someday.
get out there, man. If you're ever going through, it's pretty close to Cincinnati.
Yeah.
There's a lot of other great ancient mound sites in Ohio. One of which is Mound City, which was an ancient necropolis, a city of the
Hmm.
dead. Um,
Ah.
and there's also one called Grave Creek, which is near Wheeling, West Virginia, and that one is like a menacing twin to the Serpent Mound, not
Hmm.
visually, but it's like a dark version of it. It's a pretty impressive mound, conical mound in itself, and it's across from this super haunted penitentiary that used to house Charles Manson.
Oh, sure.
It's a very spooky place. It
Yeah.
has a weird um, falsified artifact that goes back to a time when people were claiming that the lost tribes had built the mounds, and all sorts of weird early America stuff going on there. So that'll be my first mention. What do you got for number two?
That's a good one. Yeah, that reminds me of the Lovecraft story we discussed on the Patreon episode recently. The Mound. Who knows what goes on under those things, if anything. Definitely something. Lost Race, the Darrows. My second pick is, I think I'll go with Roswell, New Mexico.
Oh shit! Take it all back. The hits are coming in.
Um, no, I'm actually going to go with a bookstore in Emmaus, Apport Used
Oh my
Books.
god!
That's my number. That's
Yeah,
number.
we
That's
get
number
it.
two. No.
It's a callback to the joke you made 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, I'm gonna make that joke every time. No, it is. I'm actually gonna do Roswell or the sort of desert between Albuquerque and Roswell that I took a little road trip through almost 10 years ago now. It's kind of in the same way that the Pine Barrens wants to have like a devil creature. You just can't imagine a place like that not attracting a UFO crash. It's just like, of course, hindsight and having the mythology built into our culture already is one thing, but it seems like an inevitable part of the landscape is to have like UFO crash debris strewn across the desert. So I drove down to Roswell itself, which is this truly, I mean, if you've never been there, it's kind of like a town. It's a real town in the middle of the desert. It's that kind of classic New Mexico down towards Texas kind of thing. It's everything's hot. A lot of things are one story. All of the Walmarts and the McDonald's and the Wendy's have little alien sculptures outside. It has this hyper branded kind of awareness of its own mythology. And it has the museum, of course, which is wonderful. It has is it an Air Force Academy, I think is there? It's some kind of Air Force or Army. Might be Army, I don't know. Some kind of military presence there still. And the sort of areas outside of it where there are these lakes, these extremely salt filled. What's the word for that? Salinic. Um, they're very salty, and so you kind of float. Like you can't really sink. I think they're called
Saline?
like yeah, but like what's the
Yeah.
adjective for that? Anyway, I think they're called like bottomless or something. But
Oh,
they're just these really wonderful, strange pockets of water in the middle of this very arid place, and it feels sort of alien too. There's all this salt deposit like veins kind of running through the landscape, and you can crack a piece off and take it. So that it kind of being there reminded me of the all the mythology around the American desert and both the ancient mythology around it, but also the 20th century mythology kind of springing out of the nuclear testing out at White Sands, but more specifically the Roswell crash and all the other crashes that happened in New Mexico, Texas, out that way. Yeah, it feels like a really interesting place to visit if you're interested in this kind of stuff. Sort of pilgrimage like, but also sort of like a campy excursion. It's kind of a weird, very uniquely American kind of experience. So that's my number two.
nice. I like it. That's kind of funny. I just thought of something. It's probably the most we've ever talked about Roswell on an episode, which
Hmm.
is hilarious for like 6 years of a podcast that's talked about UFOs as much as any of them.
Yeah,
Roswell's such a well trod hyper
it's
object
trod.
that it's like it's hard to even
Yeah,
fly
what can you
close
say?
to. I don't know. One thing I don't know why it doesn't even matter if the saucers fly.
That's weird.
Is that good?
Yeah, no, yeah, it's good.
Okay, thank you. I'll keep it in the desert, and I'll keep it with UFOs too. You might be able to guess what this one is, and it's going to lump in a couple different things. But I'll say number two on my list is the Integratron.
Sure.
The incredible, inventive architectural space of George Van Tassel, early UFO contactee, aeronautical engineer, I want to say, I believe. He had the great actual makeshift airport landing strip that he purchased out near Joshua Tree in the Mojave Desert. Giant rock is a giant quartzite rock that sits there like it was just dropped from the sky. And George Van Tassel, when he purchased the property, built a cafe underneath the rock where he used to have all of the legends from strange West Coast flying saucer lore underneath the rock, hanging out, having channeling sessions. He would have these giant UFO conventions over there as well. Legendary stories. We've talked a little bit about Gray Barker writing about those conventions on an episode. Talked about Van Tassel, the Integratron, and Giant Rock a bunch. The Integratron was the building or space that Van Tassel constructed as from the plans that he was given by extraterrestrials, space brothers that he had met. Um, you know, even just beyond that lore, the space itself is remarkable. It's like being inside of a cello. There's no nails or screws. It's just like the wood being held together by its own designed pressure. Um, the sound in there is glorious. I attended a crystal singing bowl session, which is what
Yeah.
they kind of do in there now with the new owners, and I thought it was great. I mean, it sounded really crazy, and just to be engaging with the history of that place was incredible. I camped out at Giant Rock, a little sketchy and weird, and it feels like a charged place.
Yeah.
It just it's it's been etched with all of the crazy UFO minded people that have sat out there and talked about their hopes and dreams of flying saucers. Like it's there. So yeah, if you're ever out in Joshua Tree, checking it out, or I don't know, going to Vegas or something like that, make a detour to the Integratron. Check out Giant Rock as well. Super strange. A legendary UFO related place, very close to where the Babylon working went down too.
Right.
Like, not, I wouldn't say it's in its backyard, but close enough. I love when there's like these, and I'll talk about this a little more with another place later, but I love when there's unrelated things that happen near to each other that are super weird.
Yeah.
So yeah, Integratron Giant Rock. That'll be my second entry.
It's a good one. I'm going to shuffle mine around a little bit so that this one connects to it, which is sitting on the couch, sitting on the couch on your computer. The internet itself is my third choice of
Oh,
a.
you're not
No, I'm just
actually
kidding.
doing that. Would be so annoying.
No, that's my joke one. No, it's the Philosophical Research Society in Los
Ooh,
Angeles.
like it. I like it.
Really cool place. I only got a chance to get there a little over a year ago. Yeah, really wild place. Architecturally, the library. It's also like really kind of. This is a very annoying way to say it's kind of blossoming right now in terms of cultural, activity. It's doing a lot of
Curated
stuff.
events and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, they're doing a Jordan Belson screening there, either recently or soon. It's a really great place. And I guess kind of like with a lot of mine, it's going to be Los Angeles generally is kind of a very strange place. If you're looking for, you know, American occultism, New Age philosophies, they're all kind of bubbling out there
Yeah.
still, but also especially, over the course of the 20th century, there was a huge, just like, it's more than you can really count, just like New Age philosophies,
I mean,
occultism.
the place is kind of built on it. Like I was talking
Right.
about that with the Wormwood Star book about
Yes.
Marjorie Cameron, and just the way that life is described and that's early too. That's like
Yeah.
1940s out there, but it's just so bohemian and so charged with all of this new thought and
Right. The art,
esoteric.
the art of the cinema itself, kind of,
Sure,
and the people
absolutely.
that attracted,
Yeah,
like the birth of a mass media, all of this stuff is so hermetic,
yeah, no
not
doubt.
secretive, but Hermes like.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that I guess, all the David Lynch stuff, visiting his grave out there felt like a very kind of charged, strange place. Um, yeah, there's just a lot of like strange stuff out there. It's kind of hard to explain. I mean, obviously people who live out there know about it or might be sort of blind to it in their own way. But yeah, no, that's my third pick.
Yeah, there's a lot of occult sightseeing to do out there for sure. I like it. I like where you went there. Okay. I will hone it in. I think this one checks a box in terms of museum and this whole world that we talk about. I will say the Buckland Museum of Witchcraft
Very
in
good. A shout out to
Cleveland,
our friend.
Ohio. Yes, our friend Stephen Intermill, the curator and director, joined us on an episode. But I would mention this despite that, like
Totally.
it's not, this isn't a non-paid advertisement. Like it's just that good. The collection is remarkable. Coming from Buckland himself, but it's so cool that, but there's also, if you know about this world and uh, niche occult figures and subjects, there's so much of that that pertains to America and that region
Yeah.
of the Midwest or the Rust Belt where a lot of these strange figures came from. There's a lot of artifacts from those people. So to me, it's a very American occult museum. Of course, it has a lot of the Wiccan artifacts, Gardnerian artifacts. You didn't like that?
No, that was good.
Okay. Yeah. All right. He gave me a face. You can't see it, but he gave me an eye. Yeah, it's that good. If you're driving through that area, got to check out the Buckland Museum of Witchcraft. I'll check out any paranormal museum if I'm road tripping, which I like to do. I've seen some good ones. I've seen some strange ones. I've seen some awesome collections of like haunted dolls. That's one of my favorites.
Hmm.
Um, I've seen a lot of Bigfoot stuff. But to me, this one, and I've seen, I've chased weird relics down in small museums too. Some of that stuff pertaining to the early mound builders, forgeries, and just strange kind of things, objects.
Yeah.
But really, this museum, it's going to check the box. It's really incredible. It's literally got a demon in a box if it's on display. Yeah. So that it would be stupid not to mention that, I think.
Yeah, that's a good pick. I still haven't been there. One day maybe even I'll get out there. Uh, yeah, and I guess we should say we're just doing stuff that we've, personally been to.
Right, right, right. Yeah, we're not going to
So,
mention
yeah.
anything we haven't visited personally.
And that's going to be, I mean, for me, it's limited to, a lot of East Coast USA. Not to say I haven't been to, there are some places in Ireland I'd love to mention or in France, but I kind of like limiting it to America just because, well, I'm a patriot.
Yeah, maybe we'll have
Uh,
a year. I'll just let that one go. I'm just so used to him saying that off the air that I just
uh,
let it ride. Uh, Maybe we'll have an honorable mention European one or whatever, wherever else in the world that you want to mention, because I think I have one I
yeah,
could pull, but
I don't have
yeah,
anything I want to
we're
say.
keeping it
I was trying to be nice.
we're keeping it U.S. because these are places that we drive to, that we've
Yeah,
kind
right.
of been able to not just pass through, but spend some time at, and went with intention, as the New Agers like to
Yeah,
say.
yeah.
So
Um,
hit me.
would that I could. Um, this next one is, yeah, yeah. I'm gonna go with, this is my fourth one.
Hmm.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with, the general Hudson Valley area, focused on Woodstock, Saugerties, and Kingston, mostly because of the existence of Eugenia Macer's story in that space
Mm.
for a lot of her life. So, like 10 years ago, I had taken like a pilgrimage there to like look at her house on Playhouse Lane, which I believe is now. I'm not gonna give out the address because I think somebody has bought it at this point. So. I assume somebody's living there. But just a very strange place energetically. And, of course, I was on sort of like a spiritual quest trying to gather artwork and talk to her friends and that sort of thing. So if you don't, if you're just joining us on this show and you don't know who Eugenia Macer's story is, she was a psychic, playwright, poet, paranormal investigator who I've kind of spent a lot of time archiving and researching and perhaps spiritually working with in some ways. But also the area generally has just a very strange air to it. It just feels different, especially those kind of that general area, like Phoenicia as well. Just that part of the Hudson Valley has a very unique energy to it. There's a place called Opus 40 out there, which is this incredible earthworks piece, um, just carved out of the slate in the ground and turned into this sort of labyrinth. And really one of my favorite places to visit that I haven't been to in a little while. But they'll do like solstice and equinox type stuff there, so it draws sort of a spiritual crowd. But that paired with the Macer story stuff and just the general energy out there, I think that it's one of my favorite places to visit, and it always feels like a sort of spiritual, um, refreshing kind of experience.
Yeah, of course. I didn't have anything Catskills related on my list. However, I will be going out there kind of soon, and of course, you have Whitley Strieber's cabin
I can't believe I forgot that. That's right out there
is
too.
in the mix.
Yeah,
The great writings of Washington Irving kind of haunt the place.
yeah.
And also the Hellier crew. Isn't that's where the what was that documentary called? The Unbinding? That's where that's based out of as well.
Oh, is it? Yeah, I kind of remember that now. Yeah, that is. I think there is a pretty hefty Hudson Valley presence in that.
And of course, Esopus Island, which I'll be visiting soon, is where Aleister Crowley spent his 40 days and 40 nights
Yeah.
after a turbulent time in New York City, and famously wrote on the rocks, "Every man and woman is a star."
What a
What a
what a
cat.
mensch.
What a mensch.
Yeah, that's a good. Yeah,
So yeah, I mean, yeah, there's a
good
lot going
stuff.
on in that region for sure. There's no shortage of strange stuff, and you could go visit Alex Gray's Museum of Eyes or whatever the hell it
And
is.
Big Pink. You could go see Big Pink.
What the hell's that?
The band.
What are they, like a jam band?
Hope it's not called Big Pink. Yeah,
Alex Gray, he loves the eye. He's like, what if 40 eyes were looking at
music from
you?
Big Pink by the band.
What if 300 eyes were looking at you?
Yeah, he's got. And yeah, what if we could see the inside of a butt?
Wouldn't it be a trip if 300 eyes were looking at you?
That art is pretty iconic, though. You can't knock it.
I'm sure the museum's fun. It's like a fun house kind of. I'll check it out for sure.
It's a fun
Maybe I
house.
will check it out.
It's like the circus.
Hey, no shade. Tool, Tool rocks. They got some heaters.
They do.
We don't need to go into it.
I feel like we've been getting a lot of like resistance in the comments lately. We should just start being like, yeah, fuck Tool, honestly.
What? Nah,
Mm,
Tool jams. Okay. All right. Is it my turn now?
It's your turn.
Huh. Okay. Okay. I got thrown off by yours. So I guess I'll give a personal one myself. Um, this goes back to being a teenager in New Jersey, reading the great Weird New Jersey magazine. Um, if you're unfamiliar, they did they did like books of the states and stuff. I'm sure most people know what we're talking about, but it's like legend tripping, haunted places, all of that business. It used to be a really fun magazine to read, and probably still is. I found out about this stretch of woods in North Jersey called Jenny Jump, a strange name, and it's named after a fabled woman who was running away from some people who were trying to capture her, and she jumped off a cliff. And her father famously said, "Jenny, jump." She jumped and she died. Uh,
Oh man.
the stretch of woods is nestled between Ghost Lake and Shades of Death Road. Shades of Death Road is too incredible to miss. I guess there was actually a lot of violence and motorcycle gang violence and stuff like that. I don't know. It's a place where an apparent amount of deaths have historically happened, which garnered it that name. What stuck out to me was reading in Weird New Jersey, probably in like 2004. They had an article called "The Polaroid Trail," and somebody had dumped all these bizarre Polaroids on this trail. Almost like, I don't know, like crimey, but they were just
Yeah.
weird, and eerie. The place has so much lore. It's like a small, stretch actually, because there's much bigger sets of woods and mountains in North Jersey, and this is kind of like a hill in the middle of some farmland. It's a smaller ridge, but it just has so much lore onto itself. There's legends of big cats being seen on the swamp trail. I myself
Cats.
swear that I saw a mountain lion, which are supposed to have been gone of the area for 100 years. Although there are sightings in the area that is called Panther Valley. I've had friends seen will-o'-the-wisps there. I've had a friend see a glowing little green man, stone sober. It's just an incredible, weird, charged place. It's also very, very close to where Aleister Crowley's ashes were spread in New Jersey, strangely enough. That's a callback to another episode. And also close to Howard Menger's flying saucer contactee sightings in High Bridge,
Right.
New Jersey. All kind of in that zone. That one for me that's a really personal one. It kind of goes back to when I first got interested in this stuff and visiting and doing a little legend tripping myself, checking out haunted places and all that business. So near and dear to me.
That's a good one. Uh, my last one, I'm kind of torn between saying
I don't think this is
one
your
thing.
last one, is it? Oh
Yeah,
shit, it is. Wait, oh, you went first. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Torn between something that's totally personal and is just sort of this place that appears in my dreams that I go to, or something that's actually around here and very interesting esoterically. And I think I'll go with that and then save the other for an honorable mention. So it's the Beverly Hall Corporation, uh,
Yeah, like
the
it.
Rosicrucian fraternity in Quakertown, Pennsylvania, who, you know, outsiders, non-members of the group can go to their services, and I have several times over the years. It's been a while, and they're kind of straightforward, Christian church services, but the chapel is really beautiful. The entire campus is really strange and stunning and just a wonderful place to spend some time. The rose gardens where, the ashes of the members are spread.
And to add a little spice to yours, this is colloquially known as the Bucks County Pyramids. In
Right.
the
I can't, yeah, it's kind of crazy because there's one pyramid.
Yeah, in the hype of like the Georgia Guidestones and stuff, this place was getting a little heat where it was like, this is where they're hiding.
Right. It's really, but it's really like, you do get the sense that maybe there's some interesting, more esoteric stuff going on behind the scenes, than if you just go to a service.
Well, the place it's the Beverly
Right. Yeah.
Foundation,
Yeah.
so
Pascal
it's
Beverly
not only
Randolph.
Rosicrucian, but it's based on Pascal Beverly Randolph, who's far stranger almost than the history of what we
Totally.
know of Rosicrucianism.
Yeah. So it's got this incredible lineage. And, there's R. Swinburne Clymer. He's kind of the person who followed in Randolph's footsteps, or or so they say. That's how they trace their lineage. And yeah, it's it's really crazy stuff. And they're still publishing stuff. You can go look at their sort of bookshop on their website.
Oh yeah, they publish a ton of stuff.
Yeah, really interesting stuff. Within that kind of Rosicrucian tradition, but they're different than the AMORC, which is
Yeah, very
I think
different.
based out of California now. They're kind of I don't know if it's a contentious situation, but they're kind of like the two American
I like to think so.
Rosicrucian
Get them in a ring.
sects. Yeah, they should have like a battle, a war.
Esoteric boxing.
So that's a place around, you know, consensus unreality terrain that people could visit. I wouldn't like go up there and start like, taking pictures and laughing and stuff, but if you like approach them with an air of, respect, they'll I think especially if you go to a service on a Sunday and like actually talk to the people there, they're actually very, forthcoming for the most part and let you walk around and check stuff out.
The publishing
Yeah.
house is really cool. They print
Yeah.
some beautiful editions of books. I've bought some secondhand
Right.
and always enjoy them.
Yeah, it's a great
Lovely
place.
stuff. Yeah.
So that's kind of my final pick.
Okay. It's funny because I'm going to do an honorable mention because I believe that my fifth one might be a little underwhelming. And we haven't mentioned anything fucking haunted.
No.
So I will say I went to the ridges of Athens University in Athens, Ohio, or I'm sorry, Ohio University in Athens, Ohio. The Ridges is a historic former mental hospital. It's
Hmm.
supposed to be one of the most haunted places in the United States. It's infamous for housing extreme cases and having lobotomies done. It's got a lot of paranormal lore. There's a legend of a lady whose body disappeared and then appeared like on a fifth floor, and it was exposed to extreme cold and sunlight, so it left a body. I shouldn't be laughing. It left a body stain. Um,
A BS?
there's like 2,000 nameless graves in a cemetery. And me and my friend were walking around this cemetery at night. It certainly feels like a charged place. Now, I didn't personally witness anything paranormal there. So, wah wah. But it was
That's
spooky,
okay.
and a lot of people have. So I'm not diminishing that. Uh, but that was a super cool one. I really enjoyed doing that. And there's a little hotel on the campus, too, where we stayed. And we just went out and walked around at night. Nobody was really out there except a bunch of deer. Pretty cool. Okay. For my fifth item, I will
That
say,
was your fifth item.
okay, fine.
Wait, wasn't it?
That was my honorable mention, but I'll
Oh, okay,
I'll
okay.
I'll
What's your
use
fifth one?
that as my fifth, and I'll tag on to your Beverly Corporation. What they're called, or Foundation? They aren't they like the Beverly Corporation? Anyway,
Yeah, Beverly Corporation.
the Corp. I will say the Kelpius Cave.
Sure.
We've talked about at length my own personal visitations over the course of 10 years at this place, but also we talked about the history of it with our friend TGC, Timothy Grieve Carlson, on a very
Yeah.
popular episode. He's kind of the scholar of not only Johannes Kelpius, but also the Ephrata Cloister in Pennsylvania. Now, Johannes Kelpius came to the United States from Romania by way of Germany, by way of somewhere else in the late 1600s, and he kind of headed what is called the first doomsday cult. They had an apocalyptic outlook on their Christian faith. They lived an ascetic life out in the woods of the Wissahickon Valley. The Kelpie's Cave is cool. It's a little cask that still is out there. Now it's debated what the use of this was for. Some people will tell you that they used it for meditation or isolation. Some people will say it's a simple root cellar. And I think that's kind of where TGC lands. But regardless, it's kind of a landmark for the order itself and the mystical things that were going on, and kind of the mystical birth, the mystical leanings of early America. Certainly
Yeah.
Pennsylvania, William Penn allowed Pennsylvania to be a safe haven for all sorts of fringe religious types trying to escape persecution in Europe and England. And I like that this cave, whatever it is, a landmark representing that, representing strange beliefs, people who were escaping civilization and living out in the woods, connecting to what they thought was a higher power. Yeah,
That's a good one.
he likes it. All right, you got any honorable mentions?
Mine is just the Barnegat Light Museum at
The
the very
fuck?
tip of Long Beach Island. It's a very, well, it's not the museum itself, which I haven't been in since I was a little kid, but the gardens there, for some reason, is just the most beautiful, charmed place in the world.
This is like there's, there's shades in in the things you're saying. Where it's just like an old man's tour of gardens and
That's exactly what it
lighthouses.
is. It's just like old,
It's the
old
most
ladies tending to a garden.
wonderful lighthouse. I'll do us both a favor and say Point Pleasant. You were there, right?
I've never been to Point Pleasant,
Oh,
no.
Point Pleasant is insane. I'm talking about the Point Pleasant of West Virginia, where the
I think
moth.
you're giving this garden short shrift.
I mean,
It's a really beautiful
gardens could
place.
have a lot going. I'm not
I love
diminishing a
gardens.
garden, but
You don't believe in plant intelligence and the spirit of the plant. You
of
don't believe
course I
in
do. You're. I don't know why you would put that on me.
you don't believe in in the intelligence of plants.
That's
Uh, I'd like to see the
that's
Mothman Museum
uncalled
sometime.
for and downright defamation. Yeah, no. Where the Mothman sightings happened, where the Silver Bridge collapsed, it is fucking weird out there, and you could feel it. It's resonant with strangeness. One of those places you got to see. It's got that story. It's maybe one of the best paranormal destinations in America. No?
That's what I hear. One day I'll get out there.
The statue is remarkable too. If you haven't seen the
Yeah.
pictures of the statue and Mothman's cheeks,
It's basically based on the Frank Frazetta cover from the Illuminate paperback from the 90s, I think, isn't it? It's like sort of a ripped kind of
yeah, he's ripped.
Mothman.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's superhero esque. He could do some damage in a bar fight.
With a bar fly, right?
No doubt about
It'd
that.
be a bug battle.
Coming in on the back end with the heat
Yeah.
here, bug battle. Sign
Yeah.
him up. Yeah, yeah, the great little museum too. It's probably more than an honorable mention, but it's nice to go off the radar here, and this guy could talk about his lighthouses.
The lighthouse is okay. I'm really just talking about the garden.
Lighthouses are also very spooky.
They're awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they
I
all
wish,
have a
if it were still
haunted,
functioning.
pretty haunted feel.
They do. Well, they're cool.
Just because they imprint like such a weird, isolated psyche. Obviously, that's part of what that movie was about. But
What movie?
Lighthouse,
Yeah, I know. I'm just kidding.
okay.
Um, yeah. I think that's an idiosyncratic and solid list that we came up with.
Are we? I feel that we're leaving stuff out. Okay, here's another one. I will say I talked about this at length on the Sink or Swim episode recently, so I won't go into depth but the Jefferson Market vortex of New York,
Right. Yeah.
um, kind of visually on it's a place that exists. It's a vortex, so you don't really see it with your eyes. But the proof is in the pudding, and some weird stuff happened to me when I went. So listen to that episode to find out that story. And it's also, 100 feet away from where the Amalantra working. Crowley's just got his little hands nestled in this list. He's
Yeah.
very, very on the fringes of a lot of these places.
Sure is. Yeah, I don't really have anything else. I mean, I certainly have stuff buried in my mind, but nothing I kind of pulled out for this. Oh, I'm forgetting one thing.
Ground zero.
Apport used books in Emmaus, Pennsylvania.
Yeah. Um, so you don't feel that we're missing something?
We're certainly missing all kinds of shit, but I think it's nice to limit it to five, handful of honorable mentions,
Yeah. Let
and
me
then,
propose this to you. Fire
okay,
at me one that you're dying to visit.
dying to visit. Well, I mean, I'd love to visit the Serpent Mound, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Where would I really like to go? Well, I guess I just don't know. Lilydale, I guess. I need
Oh,
to get up
how did I
there.
not say fucking Lilydale?
Yeah.
Oh,
I was
wow.
supposed to go,
Yeah.
this coming weekend, but I'm not going anymore. One
I
of these
must be
days.
fucked up because
I mean, that's an
you
obvious
got
one.
me fucked up. Yeah, Lilydale. It's insane. And that was a crazy experience I had there. Listen to
Yeah.
that on the table tipping and Halloween. I forget what's fucking
Yeah.
called. But that's an episode. You can hear
Yeah.
that.
I mean, that almost felt like it was too obvious to even say, but no, that is
A layup. Yeah, we need to mention it
totally
though.
needs a mention.
Yeah.
One of these days I'll get up there.
I mean,
I mean, yeah,
that's kind of speaks to this country though. Like, there's so many little, like, every time I go on a little camping trip or road trip, I end up looking up stuff and trying to figure out what kind of esoteric sites are around, and you find out all this
sure.
incredible local lore everywhere. Like,
Yeah.
it's around, and it's around where you are. I'll say one that I'm dying to go see, and it's a subject that interests me a lot. The Marfa Lights of Marfa,
Oh yeah.
Texas. Some friends have had some incredible encounters out there, and the whole concept of mountain lights, the history of mountain lights,
Yeah.
is really fascinating to me. I would love to go out there and check that out for sure.
That's a good idea. Yeah. I'd like to see that too. Um, I'd love to get to the outback in Australia.
Got some great lighthouses out there.
No, I don't know. It just seems like, as long as I don't get stranded or anything, I kind of like the idea
There's
of,
like real horrors out there, like scorpions.
yeah, just like a weird place that has been inhabited for a very long time, but like in a very sparse way, and it's mildly inhospitable. Not mildly, but human life doesn't really exist there easily, as far as I can imagine. And yeah, it would be nice to get out there. And I'd also like to see, I don't know, Jerusalem. Just kidding. Um, let that one sit for another couple hundred years. Maybe they'll figure it out. Um, honestly though, I mean, I read Melville's long poem Clarel. I'm kind of reading it over the course of years. Hopefully never to finish it, but it's a long narrative of a theology student's trip through the Holy Land. And just like this 19th century idea of like, you know, people are, you're supposed to go take a tour of the Holy Land to see this stuff. I kind of like that idea. Although I don't really have much stake in any of the actual so I think it's kind of an
Hmm.
antiquated idea for someone like me, but that has always kind of been appealing to me to like go on like a pilgrimage that is united with like a large worldwide history is of interest to me.
I think the amazing thing about places like that and places like Rome is there's just so many layers built upon each
Right.
other. Like you just keep digging down, and it's you're going underneath all the way down, and there's something down there. That to me is so impressive about those places. Then that's maybe something that we don't have here because it's a young history here,
Right.
at least the history of the United States.
Right.
But yeah, when I was out in Rome, I got to see some of the remaining pagan sites. Some of the Mithraniums I wanted to see, but they won't even let you go down there because it's so rare. Like so much of that was
Yeah.
destroyed or removed. But yeah, incredible stuff. All right,
I guess my last thing will be, wouldn't mind getting pretty close to Antarctica.
dude. Now that's fucked up because you could put the ice wall on this list. The pyramid.
I'd like to get somehow onto the top of the dome that they put over the world.
Yeah. Do you remember the ending of Lost? Like, does it compute? Did you watch enough Lost that the ending of Lost? Because when I think of
I
Antarctica,
watched all of
I
it.
always think of Lost because the lore about
Yeah.
Antarctica and conspiracy world
Yeah.
reminds a lot of Lost.
Yeah.
But did you watch enough that like the ending computed on any level?
I mean, I wasn't like offended by it the way everybody else was.
But it's like
Um,
if like in terms of plot, if you read it, it's like they all died at different points and they're meeting. It's like every time I read it, it's different in my head almost.
I
And
guess.
maybe that's the brilliance of
I
J.J.
mean,
Abrams.
what I liked about that is that it felt the same way as somebody telling a really complicated story with too many moving parts, and then they just have to have an ending that is, you know, this unsatisfying kind of strange mishmash that doesn't really satisfy, doesn't tie anything together.
Yeah,
Um, it's like a dream or like, yeah, like an old
yeah,
man's story.
yeah. I'm not saying that I was like, oh my god, I can't believe they ended it this way. It's just like literally
No,
when I
yeah,
read it on Wikipedia, it
it doesn't
feels
compute.
different
No,
every time.
yeah, it doesn't really make sense. And yeah, I'm due for a rewatch of Lost. That's a good show. Too bad it's so long.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it is
I
crazy.
prefer
It's
The
like
Leftovers. It's like,
30 episode seasons, 6
yeah,
seasons long. Fucking nuts.
The Leftovers is like if he was given a confined space to work in, and then he did it well.
It's true. Okay, cool. So we
Uh,
got that in there for extra heated comments. Somebody can be like, I enjoyed it until you guys said fucking Lost ending wasn't good.
no, it was good.
Was
We're
good.
we're saying it was good.
Yeah. All right. Okay. That's it. That's our second list episode in 6 years. We've had
Isn't our
written
third?
lists. We
We
did a
had books
book.
too.
Well, we did a book list. But did
Thought
we
we
do an
talked about it.
episode? Maybe we did. Third, second, I don't know. I don't even know what number episode we're on. That's how
Yeah.
hard this shit goes.
Doesn't matter anymore, does it?
Probably not.
Except for like our numerology fans who are like
Yeah.
keeping track of that stuff, which we love you guys. We do.
Right. Okay. Thank you for listening. Check out patreon.com/consensus unreality. We have a really fun schedule ahead. Some interviews coming up. Also covering some long-awaited subjects that we've been marinating. And a lot of that will be on Patreon. You'll completely miss out and not know what the hell we're talking about because you won't be able to listen unless you sign up at patreon.com/consensus unreality. Thanks for listening.